everybody.
Welcome to All That Matters and More. It's Malama.
And I'm Vicky, and welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. But before Dudu and I dive right into it, we just wanted to give you guys a quick disclaimer and to let you know that the content we will be providing today is for entertainment, educational, and informative purposes.
Yes, guys, that the opinions and recommendations provided by us should be by no means considered as medical or professional advice.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, how are you, my girl?
Good, thank you.
That's good. You look lovely.
You look lovely too.
Thank you. I've managed to get color.
No, you look really good.
Thank you.
And yes, so today's topic, I think it's a conversation that we'll probably have, a couple of years from now.
Yeah.
It's going to come around pretty often. So we are tackling, should children of undocumented foreign nationals be allowed the right to a basic education?
Yeah.
And, I think you know my thoughts on it. So I'm just going to let you dive in.
Yeah. I mean, girl, I say yes. I really do say yes. And the reason why I say yes, I'd firstly like to start off with that issue. Like, they are children, I think that they need to go to school. They need to now go learn things so that their brain can become like more enhanced, And obviously with going to school, there's certain things that are very good, like social skills that you can develop, Certain gross and motor skills as well that you can make sure that are starting to become a lot more better. So if they don't, then you know that, okay, we need to go fix this, for example. So I definitely do say yes, okay?
Wait, can't they do that in their country? Not that I'm saying it like, can't they do it? Because these are not like...
The country's bad, illegal.
I
can handle by illegal, ne? And I get what you're saying, ne? Because as well, like, they need space first, if anything, But at the end of the day, like, to leave children who are not studying or not doing anything and who are just sitting at home, like, to me, that just means that in the future, it will have a lot more greater implications, And obviously, I think with everything that's going on with the current situation in South Africa, it just seems as if though things are out of control and they're not controllable, The children need to be doing something. They need to be going to school. They need to be learning, I do know that they are undocumented, which is very bad. Because then it just seems like we don't know what's what. We don't know which child belongs to where do they come from, what's going on, But I think that, yes, they need to be. Because,
I don't agree with you. And I think I don't agree with many people who, obviously, according to Section 39, it says that, every child, has the basic right to education.
Yeah.
And even children of, illegal immigrants or illegal foreigners have that right. But for me, I'm just saying, already in our country, we have kids who are undocumented and they are South Africans, right? And we know the whole process of them going to school, what that means.
Yeah.
So let alone happy, and it's not like the parents know exactly what they did. But no, let's bring our kids, whether they've abandoned them or, they're letting them stay with the family while they go back to their own countries.
Yeah.
It just says a lot. And it goes back for already like a tax. Modima taxi, it's also that these kids, and it's not like they are going to private schools or they're going to Model C schools. They are literally going into a system that already is strained on its own.
Yeah.
If not worse, then they're going to illegal, non-registered schools. So for me, I just kind of feel like it's just building too much on our own economy, and we can't base an economy on illegal foreigners and what they do.
Yeah.
Like, your points are good. No, obviously they're going to be in school, removing them from the streets of crime. But then what does it mean for our own economy? What does it mean for our kids now? Because now all the administration that is required.
Okay, and I understand with what you're saying with administration. One thing that I've picked up is now there's a gap in we are unable to sort out our problems first, like making sure that every single child is documented. And then obviously now they're not documented. Now it adds more problems to what we have. But I mean, for me, the reason, and you know why I say this, I always have this thing of, and it was so weird when we used to work in the mall and we would just see random kids walking around. I'd get so angry and I'd be like, but wait, why isn't that child in school? Why isn't that child in school, Because I think you are right. The point that I was actually going to make, Tutu, is that if we do put them in school situations, okay, currently in South Africa, we do not know what's going on. We do not know how the laws may change in the future. We do not know if foreigners, we don't know if foreigners are going to go back to their country, right?
No, illegal foreigners. I don't
Okay.
mind the other foreigners.
Okay,
who
so
are
now the
here.
illegal foreigners, we
Yeah.
don't know if they're going to go back to the country. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. Now that child sits here, is growing up, ne? They don't do anything. They don't go to school. What do? They
need
resort
to
to
get,
crime.
so-
They resort to crime. That's how I was going to get to. They resort to crime. Now they resort to doing things that aren't once again legal in South Africa. They're going to now take shortcuts, and then there's pitfalls to how if let's say for example they were in school, they could have tried to see that there is a better future after school. I do have an education. I do have a chance. Yes, it's another topic for another day. It is contradictory. Yes, there are people out there who are well educated. Yes, they have resorted to crime. But I just think that children need to be in a system where they are constantly learning, where they're growing, where they're evolving. It's very good for their development.
I agree with you that, they need to be within school. But
Yeah.
it would be great if they were in their own home country in school and have that government take over that responsibility. Because my kind of feeling is, and it's nothing against, illegal foreigners. I know a few, we talk to a few,
Yeah.
but it's just to say, isn't this perpetuating people feeling like they can come to South Africa at any moment and throw a party? Like, no, I can leave Zimbabwe, come into South Africa, dump my kids and go back. And I know that my child will get like proper education,
Yeah.
And already as it is, I don't think our education system is really that good. I mean, what are kids still doing? Learning about King Louis. Let's change that.
Yeah.
We already need to change that. So it's just to say that us allowing that literally perpetuates many things that are literally quite, what's the word?
But I get what you're
Like,
saying, that
yeah.
now we are adding more issues to the problems that we already have. We're not
Yeah.
combating the issues that we're supposed to first in
True.
order for us to move forward. But Jonah, for me, I think it just goes back to the kid thing. Yes, I do know that to a certain extent, what do we do? Wait, who do we blame?
But okay, if you're saying that, then it's simply going to the case right now that's happening in Limpopo. So they have a right to be a South African citizen, even if their parents are not.
But I'm not
South
saying that they
African.
have a right to
No, but-
become a South African citizen.
So then no, I'm
No, I'm not saying
so they have a right to a basic education in South Africa, even though they are undocumented.
Yes, go. In the meantime, they need to do
And
something.
illegal foreigners. Let me not say undocumented, because we have
Yeah.
undocumented South Africans, which they do have a right to
Yes.
education.
So for me, it's just, I'm not saying now they need to all of a sudden get documented. All I'm just saying is that, do they need a basic education? Yes, they are being put in a system, like I'm saying, where they can learn certain skills, that will not obviously have a negative impact once they are done with school or in the future when they grow up. So it's just about giving them a chance, Because, when you think about a child and how a child is growing and developing, a child does not have a choice of anything, Being put in a system is a lot more better than sitting at home and not doing anything. What's the child going to do?
I don't
So
agree.
now the child has to sit at home and not do anything at all.
Yeah,
At all. Like, at all, girl.
No, they can do something.
What?
I think what I'm going to say could put me in a very firing light.
Okay.
So I'm not going to say my thoughts.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but the thing is, I feel like I think this is a conversation that we need to have further on as South Africans. What are the implications? Yes, it's good. Every child, literally, every single child has the basic right to an education. Non-negotiable.
Yeah. And now you're saying now, like,
Non-negotiable.
not even South Africa, worldwide, like everywhere.
No, that's the basic human rights, right? According to that.
Yeah.
But my thing is, to what extent is it detrimental on a country's economy? What does that mean for us? Because and my thing is, I'll be saying for these parents, fine, your child is undocumented, you are illegal, you taking them to school, are you guys even paying fees?
Okay. That's another point we can look at.
So I think there's just so many things that we need to understand in terms of what's happening. I get human rights are human rights, agreed. But to what extent are we saying, like, everything must go because it's a human rights? And sometimes we find ourselves where our politicians are blaming the NGOs who stand up for these things. No, but if that's the case, then what does it... Instance now, we had a building burned down, right?
Yeah.
Last week, right?
Yeah.
And with that in line, right? It's just to say, okay, now they can all claim they're South Africans through naturalization. We wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
I hear
Or they
you.
can just claim multiple things. No, we wouldn't know that. And I'm not just trying to say that our Home Affairs is incompetent, maybe they might swindle something, but it's just to say to what extent are we just being okay with so many illegal foreigners just coming to our country, utilizing our resources, and just being like, okay, it is what it is. We are good with it.
Okay. I mean, I hear what you're saying. And, you make a really valid point. But I think for me, once again, and it's gonna, I don't know, a child needs to be learning. Don't be sitting at home on the side of the street. And, we see them all the time. Now the child is sitting on the side of the street doing Lord knows what. Rather being put in a system where we can somewhat develop you, you know what I'm saying? I do get what you're saying. Now they are using our resources already barely. We already feel like our resources are so limited, even though we always keep saying South Africa has really rich resources, We just need to learn how to properly utilize them. And I do understand what you're saying. That gap is very massive. We haven't even sorted out our own problems, But also with, for example, in this case and what we're talking about, if these children do not go to school, we are adding still more problems in the future where people are going to think that, okay, they're not properly developed, They are not going to think maybe as logically as another child would who has the opportunity to go to school, And not just only that, there are massive negative implications that it will have, in my opinion, as the child grows up, Such as crime, such as not being educated, such as basic things we strive for example, financial stability in this case, being put in a system where you can at least start to learn, or being put in a school system where you're learning the basic maths. You can count from 1 to 5. So I just think that it would assist in obviously combating more negative implications in the future in South Africa as of it is, with the problems that we have, So it's, to a certain extent, I'm thinking of it as if they're being put in a system, okay, fine. At least we are minusing problems that may occur in the future that will either, if not, make it worse.
But, I think everything we're just basing it on a possibility. It's not even a probable, it's a possibility. It may work, it may not work. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You have educated people who have committed heinous crimes.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest. They still are doing it. They are smart. They're getting away with it.
So, yeah. So I think for us, guys, I think you already know our views. And for me, this is just literally... Actually, it's a conversation. It's honestly a conversation. I don't think I'm going to wrap it up. I think we need to hear your opinions. We need to hear your views. 2024 elections are coming up. And we need to figure out a way for South Africa that how do we fix ourselves right now as the youth? What are we doing? What are we putting in place? What would we like our government to put in place?
Yeah.
Because there's so many things happening. And we just really need to work on getting South Africa better.
110%. And I think, hit the nail on the coffin. No, man, I'm not going to even lie and say too much. You've said that very beautifully, I think that Dito is right, guys. Let's open this up. If we need to unpack this a little bit further, if there's somebody who, we could find a guest to also unpack this with us a little bit further, let's have this conversation 110%. Dito is right, guys. If we're not having these conversations, if we're always agreeing to certain things that are happening, her and I disagreed right now, to this issue. These conversations are going to get had next year, the year after that. Things are changing and they're always evolving, And there's a lot of challenges right now in South Africa that we need to make sure that we are addressing correctly, and then also finding solutions where we can move forward effectively.
I know, that's right. Anyways, guys, if you have, like we've just touched on, you can literally, you want to share, you want to further this conversation, please kindly email us at info@mattersandmore.co.za.
Yes, guys, also Instagram, please engage with us, okay? Matters and More. And then on YouTube, like, share, subscribe when you do get a bit of time. No hesitation at all at Matters and More. And then, guys, we've joined TikTok as well. So please do definitely pop on there. Check us out as well. And yeah, guys. Oh, sorry, on TikTok as well. Matters and More.
And that's it, guys.